Support for On the Table provided by Rock Realty, rock solid real estate.
We're rolling here, I think.
There you go.
Hello. Welcome to On the Table, the show where all sports topics are on the table and nothing is out of play. I'm EB, and this is Paulie.
And we are on the table once again. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Back at it, brother.
What's our first topic?
Our first topic today is breaking news. The bounty, the NFL bounty,
Okay.
has come about today based on the defensive coordinator of it was over the past few seasons, the New Orleans Saints, now at the St. Louis Rams. You know him by name?
Greg Williams.
Greg Williams, under very heavy scrutiny from Commissioner Roger Goodell today, and probably throughout the next several days at least. So by the time we air on Friday, I'm sure this will still be heavy in news. But as of taping time, this is breaking today. You want to tell a little bit about what the bounty is and what the difference is between going after a guy and what these guys do is they get in together and get a pool going. Say the defense has their defensive meeting every week. Okay, if you're late to a meeting, you throw in $100.
Yes.
Okay, in the pool. If you miss a tackle in practice, you throw in $50 or $200, that kind of thing. And then the guy who makes the first great hit of the day, or the first sack kind of thing, first interception, you get that pool. Okay. There's a big difference, so there's a big line drawn between what's considered going after somebody, hitting them hard and legal, or going out there, what we're talking today is carting them off the field, which is going after a knee or going after a head.
Basically what was said was, they were given a certain type of money. Some said $15,000, one report, another report said $35,000. Basically, for taking out a player. So if they injured him, they got a certain amount of money, which we did hear they injured Favre.
Well, yeah, the big thing...
Well, we know they injured Favre, but we heard that he got money for injuring Favre.
Well, yeah, see, the part of the whole tie-in today was about Favre. They interviewed Favre by telephone, I would imagine, because they didn't have video footage of him, but they kept, as they would read his text, they were showing was it the 09 NFC Championship? Well, it was the championship game where it was at New Orleans, I believe.
Yeah.
Favre was quarterback.
It was 09,
Yeah, he threw that last interception.
It was January of 10, but...
So that's the game they're talking about specifically, where they had a huge bounty on Favre, and that would make total sense because Favre, being the guy who's played the longest, the Cal Ripken of
was
football.
Playing unreal that year.
Right, and
should have won that championship game.
He shouldn't have thrown that last pass anyway, but besides the point.
They shouldn't have been in that situation for him to throw that pass.
Right, exactly. But here's the issue. You've got defensive guys from that team. Darren Sharper being the one that I want to call because he was the ex-Packer for so long.
To be Favre's
so
buddy.
Him and Favre were tight. And Favre even said today that he's always thought of Darren Sharper as one of his good friends.
Yeah.
Well, Sharper is interviewed on the phone today because it was his voice, and it basically denied everything. Okay, he's denying everything. And Favre's quote was, I've always thought of him as a friend, and when he was hitting me so hard and he was hitting me late, and he goes, I thought there was something different about the hits I was taking that game.
Yeah.
He said, Sharp, what the H are you doing?
Yeah.
Because his own buddy's coming after him.
Oh, I know.
So that in itself is a problem, but then also Darren Sharper denying it, saying that Sean Payton, who's been looked at, I think, as a saint by the media.
Yeah.
Okay, so he
denies knowing anything.
No. He admits that he knew about it.
Okay.
But from a distance, because the defense meets together,
Yeah.
the offense meets together.
He never talks to any of them ever.
Yeah. But the head coach
never talks to any of his players.
The head coach isn't responsible for the whole team and knowing what the defense is doing. Give me a break, Sean Payton.
If that was the case, I would have got out of a few things.
But the thing is that during that phone call with Darren Sharper, he claimed that Sean Payton wouldn't know anything because we had defensive meetings and it was just with the defense. So it was our tight group, basically the fraternity of each team, we only know what goes on in our locker room and things should have stayed. Current players were tweeting today that's kind of bogus that this got out because, what goes on in locker rooms stays in locker rooms, and I believe that wholeheartedly to most extent,
Yeah.
But when something like this is going on, this affects the whole integrity of of the sport.
Did you hear what Kyle Turley said?
No, I didn't.
You remember him, defensive player for the Saints.
No, I didn't. But
He called out Drew Brees.
That Brees knew about it?
Because Drew Brees is on the executive committee of the NFL Players Association.
Gotcha.
So they're basically in charge of the safety of the players. So
Right.
Brees knew about all this.
Right.
And still let it go on.
Well,
and then he was tagged as a franchise.
Oh, well, yeah. They talked to Steve Young today also, and he basically said, well, this is all on the defense, because how do you put a bounty out on an offense? What do you do? Say, hey, offensive lineman, go fall on somebody?
It had to be a special teams player.
Well, yeah, so
go
it's the
after
defense.
The kick
100%.
returner.
Yeah. So you did. I guess we'll have to keep abreast of the situation.
Yeah.
But if I had a crystal ball right now and I had to tell you what's going to happen to the Saints, I think they're going to lose a draft pick or a draft
they're
order.
in trouble. Yeah.
I think Sean Payton's going to be fined very heavily, more than what people I think assume today. And I think that the defensive coordinator now with the Rams, I think he might be banished from the game. I think what they're saying, it depends on how he basically, apologizes to the commissioner, how he goes about it. He says he was sorry for it, and and he's going to kind of go in there with his tail between his legs, which might save his career.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to be sitting out quite a while.
Well, then, yeah, I know. Move us on to franchise tags.
Well, the franchise,
we're talking about Brees. Brees is a franchise tag.
Well, most people, some people will know that there's a franchise tag. I don't know, how many do you get per team?
One.
You get one franchise tag, meaning basically that person can't be taken away from free agency, can't be taken by another team.
Yep.
So you've got the obvious people. You've got most quarterbacks. So probably say half the teams are going to be a tag when their contract is up. The top receivers, for example, today Wes Welker got the tag put on him in New England.
Welker, Dwayne Bowe.
I'm happy as heck.
Breeze.
Well, man, those are obvious, but I'm happy as heck for Wes Welker, aren't you? A little guy from Texas Tech, an under receiver.
Yeah.
He's got pretty good wheels, but he's 5'9". This gets plowed over the middle. Not afraid to.
He's a huge asset to that team.
Well, yeah, he was the number one receiver in the NFL too, so he deserved it. He deserved it.
Odd franchise tags.
Yeah, tell us about the one that in Denver.
Well, Denver's Matt Prater. Yeah, I mean he's a good kicker and all, but they put a franchise tag on their kicker.
Yeah, how can you put a franchise tag on a kicker? I understand that he is the best punter of all time, kind of thing. He's been in the Pro Bowl year after year after year.
Yeah, he's their place kicker. He's got a good leg.
Yeah.
But the punter you're talking about is the Giants.
No,
The Giants,
you're right.
the
For the
Giants
tag,
put a tag on Sean Weatherford, their punter.
That's terrible.
I guess he had a good Super Bowl punting, but I mean, what do you do?
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Well,
and then the big deal is the Packers. What do you think of the Packers not putting a tag on anyone?
Well, I just kind of wonder what they're going to get. They've got the 28th pick, I think. What do you think? Would they have any idea of who they even want? I mean, obviously they need a D-back. I would assume they're going to take a defensive back without knowing anything about it. But I guess we'll have to go into that when we know a little bit more about what the Packers are going to do. But we're going to talk just for a second about A.J. Hawk and his contribution to charity. A.J. Hawk's hair is down to here, and he cut. How much did he cut off? Where did it go?
The whole thing.
It's like
his hair maybe a little longer than yours right now.
Good boy,
AJ.
AJ.
About the same though.
Oh, good boy.
But
donated it to cancer.
Well, it's AJ Hawk's own his own charity. It's Hawk's Locks for Kids.
Great charity, of course. So good job, AJ, throwing out to you.
And you personally met AJ.
I met AJ in Cleveland in 09. Me and my son went out to see the game. Lo and behold, AJ was nice enough to stand in the lobby of the Cleveland Intercontinental. Didn't have any idea the team was staying there. And lo and behold, they came in about an hour after we got there.
Yeah.
AJ stood there, and this is all on my YouTube page.
Yeah, exactly.
He signed my son's cheese head. I got video of it, and still shots, and I talked to AJ for a second. And he was the coolest heck. I can't say that for every Packer. We'll leave that to the imagination on which I could go. I could tell you something about Aaron Rodgers not being the nicest guy. We'll get into that somewhere
I could tell you about Reggie White pushing us out of the way and Favre laughing.
Oh, that's
Reggie White said, "I ain't got time to sign any autographs."
Yeah, so
and Favre's chuckling.
Yeah.
But anyways, time for a break.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Let's go to a break. We'll go to a commercial and we'll be back.
Well, first of all, let me introduce this. We're gonna roll out some footage. It's basically an on the streets segment. It is a fan's perspective.
Remember, this is the first on the street segment this year, and this season.
And many more to come. Though.
Remember last season we had a heck of a time. It was
more to come.
One of the funnest things we did with the show was on the streets.
Let's watch this, and then we'll do a little bit of commenting after that.
All right, here we are in the Courtside Club with Tom Scalisi. What we got here? There's Kareem. Look inside the club. There's Kurt. There's Scotty. Get a little view inside the club here. Woo. Goes right out to the court. We got here early. Here's the shot we wanted, the court shot. In the Courtside Club. Yeah. This battery will probably die.
Oh, I got two. They steal the ball from one of those guys. Steal the ball from one and shoot a 3 candy. He's like, this counts. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it.
You gonna show him your seat?
102 over there. 102 right in there. Hey, where are we at here?
You guys are, just follow us.
Okay.
You're good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome back our season ticket holders and thank all our group sponsors and guests for coming out to the Bradley Center for tonight's showdown between the Orlando Magic and your Milwaukee Bucks. Tonight's presentation of the colors of the national anthem is brought to you
Saying hi to Telly.
I saw it was Telly.
What did Telly say?
And now, please join us in celebrating
Brando.
our great nation with the singing of our national anthem performed tonight by the Portage High School Band.
Bowling. There's Bango.
Can you do it?
Oh!
And you go ahead and do another one. Bango, you move better in your head. Can we get some more?
Why are we getting it?
One more strike, hurry up. Good enough. Go ahead and throw that funnel shirt.
Brando with the ball. Jesus.
How's that not a goal?
That's what I know. Here's halftime. Let's go, guys. Brando. Come on, guys.
Time now for the Potawatomi Bingo Casino Jackpot Shop featuring front
Here's their son.
Scott shots. We're going to give 2 lucky bucks.
There's Telly. Now how come none of them gave you high fives? They're just too cool to give you high fives, huh? You don't pay enough money? What's the score?
Bucks 48, Reds 49.
48-49. Tom trying to get a drink at the courtside club. Halftime. Pretty busy in here. Let me rephrase that. Very busy in here. And there's the courtside club again at halftime. Wouldn't be official if we didn't get any energy in there. Huh? It's not official unless we have some energy. Here they are doing the, what is it, a sacred tribal dance? He looks happy. A little bit of sexual chocolate.
I watched that the other day.
Here they come. Oh yeah.
Congratulations to Troy Phillippe, tonight's Frontier Airlines Fly Where the Bucks Fly winner. Troy has won 150 fly bucks. Thanks to our friends at Frontier
Here's the
Airlines.
Bucks. Ilyasova's always in the shot.
Eli Urson?
He's like always in
They
the
call
shot.
it an earthquake when he dunks.
Earthquake.
Yeah.
There's Brando.
Replaces
Brandon Nurse.
and number 7, Urson Ilyasova for John Moore. Glenn Davis replaces Ryan Anderson for Orlando.
All right, we're back here now. Something you did not see in that footage. I have to tell you what happened here. So you saw how close our seats were. At the end of the game, tried to get a high five from about 3 or 4 bucks. None of them would give us high fives. They wouldn't give the kid, a small kid right next to us.
That's the problem. I think.
They wouldn't give him high fives.
That's the problem.
However, I witnessed them getting. This kid got 3 high fives from Orlando Magic players. Then Dwight Howard comes out at the end, and I wish I had camera footage left, but Tom, I don't know, Tom had too much ate up with his basket weaving class.
You keep saying his name, he's going to keep honking the horn.
His flower arranging, that was in his flower arranging class. But anyways, so here's what Dwight Howard does. Dwight Howard not only gives the kid a high five, he takes his jersey off.
Oh, come on.
He takes his jersey off and gives it to a Bucks fan. Gives it to a small Bucks fan kid.
What a prick.
And someone else got this on footage because there was guys with their phones and stuff.
Yeah.
And someone else did get footage of it, but I just had to tell that story.
Terrible.
Anyways, let's move into.
Well, let's just talk a little bit
Let's
about.
talk about the Bucks. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So
real
you're
quick.
Season ticket holder.
All
Give
right.
us the next couple games up on the
Season
schedule.
ticket holder. All right. 2 big games coming up Wednesday against Chicago Bulls and Friday against the New York Knicks. A little bit of Linsanity.
Yeah.
I will be there Friday. I'll do a quick pick. Bucks are going to lose to the Bulls because they always do. They're going to win Friday night against the Knicks because I really don't think the Knicks are that much.
Okay, well, that's good enough for me because I unfortunately don't even follow the Bucks anymore. I can't stand the NBA. I still love college basketball.
No, you like local basketball
well,
a
that's
little better.
Well, that's it is a local show. Let's talk a little bit about Craig and Parker basketball and where we were when we were in high school.
Where have they gone?
Well, where has my team gone? Your team actually is better now than it was back then. But
you can tell by my frame I wasn't a basketball player.
Yeah. Well, local basketball from the late '80s to the early '90s, at least at Craig, was on top of the world.
Yeah, they were really good.
We were putting out D1 ball players basically on every team from '87 to '92, and those guys had successful college careers in the NCAA tournament even, which is coming up. And as the years have gone by, I don't think Craig have they won a conference championship, let alone gone undefeated.
I don't know.
Parker is, barely, loses most of the games they play. I think they do win a game or two a season or a few games versus back in the late 80s and 90s it was offers. And on the other hand,
but the girls are good.
The girls were always the teams that they would fill up the gym.
I mean, Parker are unreal, but Craig's almost
Craig's
they're right
still
up there with Parker.
Craig girls are still in it as of today, right?
And then Milton girls are good. Milton?
Yeah, so we got. What about the Parker girls? Are they still?
They all got to work on the boys. Parker girls, I don't know, but they're good though. I mean,
they've got a few
always
championships up there in the Parker gym, but the Craig basketball guys, they '91 when we were there, when I was there, was we were 23-0 going up to the field house, the old barn in Madison. We sold that place out more than the Badgers did back then. It was standing room only. '91, we were 23-0 against Wauwatosa East was 23-0.
Yeah.
And we had 3 Division I basketball players on our team that year, and we ended up losing, of course, first round. But anyway, we could go on and on about things. The Coach Suter, the lack of a basketball title, 3 baseball state titles. But we are going to get into baseball here in a minute after we come back from our commercial break, when we are going to take 5 for station identification, as in Bob Euchre. Let's take a word from our sponsor. We'll be back after this message from our station.
Is it Hardware Hanks?
I think it's Worsinger's. We'll be back in a flash.
Watch On the Table and other JATV programming live streaming over the internet at jatv.org.
You've got a lot more going for you with Hanks. Hardware Hanks.
That's a nice plug that you did there. You sound just like Bob Euchre.
I didn't know we were back on. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We should send that over to Milwaukee. Maybe they'll interview you for the broadcast position.
I got plenty of Euchre impersonations. We'll get one a show maybe.
Yeah. We're gonna transition into baseball, so it's a perfect thing to talk about Euchre. Hopefully he's healthy this year, all year, right?
Oh.
But the big thing again is, well, does he get to drink?
I think he used to.
Because when the later innings,
he could drink if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he could too. Like Harry Carey, we all know with the Cubs when he was alive, but the 7th inning, he couldn't even talk. Hey, you'd watch those Cubs games as a kid. He'd sit there in the 7th inning, and Jody Davis would come up. Remember Jody Davis, that big white guy? He was a catcher, kind of a utility player.
Harry Carey's a traitor, though.
Harry Carey was this. Jody Davis, you hit home runs so far. Then Steve Stone would try to give up some real analysis, say, Jody is hitting .215 for the year, barely above the Mendoza line. And Harry would be like, I don't care, he's gonna hit one now. That's about all he'd offer. But so
let's get back to Milwaukee.
Let's get back to 2012. Our MVP, Ryan Braun. Outstanding player.
I told you he was innocent.
We did talk about this in our first episode this season.
I told you he was innocent.
He had some goofy ideas about why he was innocent. I don't know if those are going to fly or not. But
I so said it was speculation.
I
can't prove that. I didn't.
Something major's going on because he's the first one to ever win an appeal. Okay, and you don't win an appeal.
We're not supposed to know about the appeal.
Yeah, well, we weren't supposed to know about the positive test.
Yeah,
it was leaked, and then. He had the right to appeal, and since he won it, it should never have been mentioned. Only if he lost, then they said that he was positive, had an appeal, and lost it, and that's why now it came out. Should have never have come out when it did. And then you had an idea about it, but to me that didn't make any sense. But
I don't know.
We've got issues. The guy was handling the stuff too long. It might not have been in his possession the whole time.
You think they accidentally got Brian Urlacher's urine?
I think so.
They got it confused.
Have you seen that guy from when he played football in New Mexico when he was littler than me to now he's like this and his head's like that? Give me a break. But anyway, Braun today, of all things, got 2 at-bats out in Maryville, which is where the Brewers' spring training is, Maryville, Arizona.
I used to live
In Avondale.
15 minutes from there.
I think I got a friend
Avondale. I hate to say 15 minutes because I got to go further away.
Yeah.
20, 25 minutes.
Yeah, I got a couple friends that moved out there too. Must
It's
be
not
nice.
a nice area in Maryville.
It's not?
No,
Oh.
no.
You know, all the Republicans live outside of Phoenix, so if that's the Avondale area, right?
They live on the north side.
On the north side. So Braun is out there,
Northeast.
and you would expect the locals to be, you know, Brewer slash Diamondback fans.
They
you
were
know,
playing the Giants.
Well, Braun went 0 for 2 today, 2 strikeouts, one looking. He got a backwards K.
Yeah.
But the issue today was the fact that he got heckled. You know,
I
it was at the
know.
Brewers' own spring training
Well,
field.
I think they're Diamondback fans.
Yeah, but I'm
a lot of
saying
them.
they're gonna be Brewer fans in spring training in their own town.
There
There's
should
loyalty
be.
there. But you're gonna go to a spring training game and watch it, and the thing is that it's like Beloit. It's like a
Yeah.
Class A, diamond.
Yeah.
It doesn't go all the way around. It doesn't have 4 sections, so you can hear everything. You know, if you got a couple thousand people there, you can hear me saying, "Hey, Braun, you cheated. Braun, you get another urine test." That's what,
Yeah.
that's the 2 quotes that were on SportsCenter today
Yeah.
that they were yelling. We get another urine test, and you're a cheater, that kind of thing. And
I
he
know.
said he shrugged it off. But
I don't believe it.
you can't strike out every time you get up in a game.
He's still 27 tests were negative, and 3 tests last year were negative.
Well, how often is it a random test, or does every guy have to go every so
Well,
often?
if the Brewers didn't make the playoffs, he wouldn't have even been tested
Is that how it works?
because they
But
tested
don't they
him on
test-
October 2nd.
Yeah, after one of the playoff games. But is it random all season long? So this is like the team doctor says, "Hey, fielder, come on over. It's time to go in a cup."
Mhm.
So
Supposed to be random.
Is it? Do you know how random it is? Is it one player a game, or
Well, 3 times last year, so
Braun had 3 times himself?
yes. So,
So
maybe it's
It is. Must be one guy a game or something then, or close to it.
someone's
Yes.
someone's getting tested somewhere
You're
in
getting
the big
well.
leagues.
You're getting tested every month.
Is
'cause
what
that's-
I'm guessing.
Well, it comes down to if something's in your system, a monthly
Yeah.
thing. So you're going to be tested at least once a month, I would
Mm-hmm.
imagine. Maybe steroids is a different thing. Maybe that lasts for more than 1
I
month.
still say he's innocent.
Well, it
Look-
had to
look
be
at- look at how
overwhelming
skinny
evidence.
he
It had.
is.
I know. Yeah. We talked about Barry Bonds,
Our-
where he went
our
from
pro-
this
our
to that.
producer had a good point.
What
that
did he
that
say?
sample was 10 times a normal sample, like or the first sample.
So that would mean his
So
head would have
10
been about that
times.
big.
How do you get it 10 times unless someone? I think someone tampered with it.
That's like what I did when
You
I was a
know?
kid. I wanted to stay home from school another day when I had the flu, so it was like a Wednesday, middle of the week. I wanted the rest of the week off, so I knew I was getting better. I could tell, when you got the flu and you feel good. And
Yeah.
So instead of, taking my when I took my temperature with the old school thermometers, it read like, 98, 99. I stuck it in my soup, and it came out like 106. So that's tampering with stuff right there.
Yeah.
That's an idea of what somebody was doing. So. Anyway, we'll see what becomes of Braun in the preseason. Remember, that doesn't mean anything for the regular season. But
No.
we've got local
How about
baseball
local?
coming up.
Yeah.
Local coming up. We've got right here. This is our team right here. This is Deerfield little community. We coach the JV. I help out with the
State
varsity.
champs in 2 years or 3? We saying?
It's going to be
Let's say 2 years.
with the group that we had this last year. They're going to be tough to beat in Division III. We have two. We have 2 teams up there, and we kind of gel with the varsity. I work with the pitchers mostly with the varsity, and then bring the guys
We'd love
down.
to talk about Janesville baseball, but no one will come on the show.
Yeah, well I think
We
we
can
got
talk about Milton here.
Well, we can get them on the show. It's just that we have a tie, because somebody was smart enough to hire us up there to coach. So, if we want to get into me personally want to get in the district, and I should be. I think I paid my dues to this town that I should be able to get in and coach.
But the big question is, what happened to Janesville baseball?
Well, that's the thing.
We're talking about what happened to Janesville basketball.
Well, and that's just a
because how can the tournament teams
that's the
have 5 or 6 state champs?
Last year, the 13-year-old team here, you see their jersey, won a state title, went to the Ohio Valley, won a game.
14s and 15s.
Well, not the 15s is a different story nowadays, but the 14s.
but still, they were state champs.
No, they were not last year.
Oh, they weren't. Okay.
And now they can go to Legion and stuff.
There was
'cause of
5
numbers,
or 6 state champs.
Well,
though.
the 14-year-olds also won the Ohio Valley state champs, Ohio Valley champs, went to the World Series. So you talk about, is it has to be something.
Then they get to high school, and then what happens?
Then they get to high school, and then all of a sudden our baseball programs are crap. Craig and Parker's baseball programs have been so mediocre, and they've had players. I mean, they've had, from what I understand, they've had players get D1 scholarships. But Janesville baseball has kind of been a little bit about what am I doing? What do my stats say? And I can attest to that, and I can say that because when I played, that was on my mind more than it should have, compared to where we're at today with Deerfield, where we have a bunch of kids that just want to play baseball, and they listen to what we tell them.
It's a bunch of farm kids.
And they come together and gel and make a great team.
Yeah.
So there's something going on between when we leave them at 13 and 14, they go up to the high school level, and it's Craig and Parker. Something's going on that needs to be addressed, because you got to produce a championship. You got to produce an undefeated conference season or close to it at some point. You know, when I got out of high school, and I think most kids do this, you get out of high school and then they go to college, they start a family, they kind of forget about high school and what the sports are doing. So for about a decade, I really didn't pay much attention to Craig baseball or Parker baseball, except for Craig winning the state title in '98. So there's 3 championship teams up in the gym. You can never overlook
I coached
that.
a few of those kids as 13-year-olds.
Well, that's kind of what it gets to the point of, you know, working the ladder.
Yeah.
And then, you know, as now we both have kids kind of going through the district and things like that. So now I'm kind of paying more attention to it. But definitely want to see somebody getting drafted at some point. I mean, you know, when we were in high school, at least a year after the last guy that I remember getting drafted was a guy that I played with at Parker.
There's one kid who has a good shot, maybe even 2.
Yeah, we won't
We
say any
can't
names,
say any names because you're not supposed to have contact with any kids.
Any high school kids?
No, any kids from the Janesville program.
Who said that?
I'm just kidding. Remember, it was a
an inside joke. But I don't think you. Well, you have to have contact with your high school players because a lot of them are your teachers or your basketball coaches.
Well,
your football
that's
coaches.
one thing I don't understand. Okay, so high school baseball, we start the 19th.
Yeah, we start practice on the 19th.
March
I would assume
19th.
that's a WIA rule. So if your
However,
kids are playing, they're going to be starting.
If you have a tournament team, you can be year-round with the kids. There's no regulations.
Down south, that's why we're at such a disadvantage, because down south, for example, down in Lexington, Kentucky, I have a friend that played at Kentucky and then played for the Pirates, and now he's a high school baseball coach down there. They actually went to a tournament in Avondale, Arizona, I believe, and in January. They also started practice 3 weeks ago. They have their first game this week. So that's why it's so hard for us up here to compete with the South.
In Avondale, we would be playing our games in February.
So anyway,
but
I
think we're out of time.
I think we're out of time, but we're getting back to the local thing to wrap it up. We just hope that we can get in a straight and narrow and get these guys winning.
Let's see the next few years here.
Yeah, get these guys winning some championships at that level where we leave them with the confidence to go there.
I'll try building up Milton. You build up Janesville.
We'll do it together. I'll do it with Coach Davey. We'll get him in here, and probably our next show we'll get him in here, talk Janesville and we'll talk some other high school baseball. So for the moment, we are officially off the table. We'll see you next time.